our David Begnaud has now spoken to the father of the gunman. Right after the massacre, David Mateen says he has no idea why his son would shoot more than 100 people at a nightclub, but he also made some anti-gay remarks, leading to questions about what kind of beliefs he may have passed on to his son. David is in Fort Pierce today. David.
Vlad, we'll get to that interview with the father in a moment, but first of all, I want to bring in the police chief here in Fort Pierce. She is Diane Hobley-Burney, and the chief we saw was going to the suspect's apartment. I had mentioned earlier in a previous live shot here on CBSN that the back door leading to the shooter's apartment is ajar. It is open. And there's some confusion right now as to how it became open and if someone entered when they should not have. I want to bring in the chief. Chief, I know you were here on the property. You were alerted to the door open. What are you in the process of doing right now?
Well, I called a number of my officers here because I need to assure the situation that's inside of the dwelling, and they're on their way right now. Once I was notified that the door was open, it was of concern, and so we're following up with that.
What would it be if someone would have accessed the apartment who didn't have the authority to do so?
Well, if they did not have the authority, it would be a burglary, but that's what we're trying to determine if we can find out who was actually inside of the apartment.
Were you told, I know you don't want to speculate, but based on the early information you have, do you know who may have gone in the back door?
I have no idea. As I said, I was here for another matter,
Sure.
And it was brought to my attention, and so now I'm dealing with that.
Last you know, Chief, was the door secured and locked?
I was told that the apartment was secured when everyone left from the scene from earlier this morning.
Okay. Chief, thank you so much, and we will wait for your officers in further direction. Let me take you actually to the back door because, as I was saying earlier, the way it went down was a little suspicious. We saw that the door was open. There were a bunch of reporters shooting into the apartment, and I actually asked one of them, a reporter from Canada, did you go inside? And she said, well, I did. Several people have come and gone, and we made the editorial decision not to go inside the apartment because we haven't been given access by the person who owns it or any family member, but this is it. Here's the door. It's a screen porch in the back, and as you look into the apartment, it appears to be like any apartment in America. Nothing suspicious, nothing out of the ordinary, but again, as you just heard the chief say, this may be a burglary. They're investigating to see whether it is, and so I wanted to give you that latest update on that.